Good morning to one and all. I am Nune Kiran Kumar, PGT Social Studies, TS Model School, Rukmapur. I am here on behalf of all the district social studies teachers. So today I am going to orient about the SSC annual examination question paper and its pattern and the way the questions are being asked in the examinations. So this is a wonderful initiative taken by our district authorities, especially special thanks to our DEO Janardhan Rao Garu for organizing such a wonderful program to make every child pass in the examination which are going to come within a short period of time. Children, here we have the 10th class social studies question paper weightage table. So based on the weightage, we have to look at the weightage of the table. First one, the type of questions. In part A, there are three types of questions are there. One is very short answer type, one is short answer type, one is essay type questions. In that first one, the section 1 will be very short answer type. In this number of questions are 6 questions and questions to be answered are 6. So out of 6 questions, we have to answer all the 6 questions. There is no choice. And for this allotted marks are 2 marks. So for this entire section we will be getting for 12 marks and we have to attempt all the 6 questions to score the 12 marks. And for this attempting the 6 questions, for every question we have to allocate at least 5 minutes. So it will take half an hour, that is 30 minutes of time. This is about the first section. Coming to the second section, short answer type questions. Here also we are having 6 questions and the questions to be answered are 6. And in the section 2 also we don't have any type of choice. And here the marks allotted are 4 marks for every question. So that is 4 6 are 24 marks. Okay. So for these 6 questions, okay, we have to allocate 10 minutes at least for each question, which will take us 60 minutes, that is 1 hour. So we have to spend 1 hour for the second section where we can score very good marks. Next, coming to the third type, essay type questions. Here we have number of questions, we have 6 questions, but here we have to answer, the questions to be answered are only 4. So in the coming to the third section, we have a choice of 2 questions where the marks allotted for each question is 6 marks. So totally this section will fetch us 24 marks. In that 4 questions we have to attempt and for every question at least we have to allocate 15 minutes of time and it will take 30 minutes, that is 1 hour. So entirely for part A 1 hour plus 1 hour 2 hours and 30 minutes. Coming to the last area, that is part B, MCQ, multiple choice questions will be there, and in these questions there are number of questions are 20 and out of 20 questions we have to answer all the 20 questions. No choice will be given in any subject nor in social studies also. So we have to allotted marks are 1 mark for every question and we have to allocate 30 minutes of time for this part B. Students, now we are looking at the blueprint of the annual question paper. Okay, right. So this is the academic standards. Academic standard number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 and number 6. As you know, our question paper is 100% based on the academic standards. So what are the academic standards we have in social studies? There are 6 academic standards. Let us see one by one. First academic standard is conceptual understanding and the percentage allotted to this is 45%. And marks are 42 marks. Okay, so in this very short answer type questions, 2 questions will be asked from this academic standard for 4 marks. And coming to the short answer type, 2 questions will be asked for 2 into, that is 4 marks, that is 8 marks. Next, essay type questions, 2 questions are asked for 12 marks. Next, coming to the part B, multiple choice questions, part B, 18 questions will be asked and every question carries 1 mark, that is 18 marks. So overall, the academic standard conceptual understanding will fetch us 42 marks. So this 42 marks is nothing but it is the game changer. Yes, as you know, the 42 marks can make you hero or can make you zero also. So focus more on this academic standard as this conceptual understanding will fetch us you more marks. Next, coming to the second one, reading the text, understanding and interpretation. This is the second academic standard and in simple words we call it as paragraph interpretation or commenting on a paragraph, which we are doing from 6th class onwards. So coming to the percentage of the marks, 11% of the question paper will be allocated for this academic standard and marks wise 10 marks are there. So in this, from this academic standard, we don't get any question from the very short answer type, but there is a chance of getting questions from the short answer type as well as essay type. So 2 questions will be asked, and for that we will be getting 10 marks questions. Next, coming to the third academic standard, information skills, that is 13% and marks allotted are 12 marks. And in this very short answer type question, 1 question will be asked for 2 marks. Next, short answer type asked 1 question for 4 marks, and essay type 1 question for 6 marks. So total overall the information skill academic standard will fetch us 12 marks. Coming to the fourth one, reflection on contemporary issues. This is the fourth academic standard which will have the percentage of 11%, and in that marks are allotted are 10 marks. In that very short answer type questions, 1 question for 2 marks, and essay type question 1 question for 6 marks. And in the part B also, from last 2 years onwards, we are getting 2 questions from these contemporary issues, like the contemporary issues of the recent world, or what are the present posts, like the present Secretary General of UNO, present Chief Election Commissioner of India, like that questions are asked here in the MCQ, where we are getting 10 marks out of it. Next, coming to the fifth academic standard, mapping skills. This is also one of the most important academic standard in our social studies, because map pointing, map drawing and map reading, these are all the important skills which possess under the mapping skills. We have the percentage of 13%, that is marks allotted are 12 marks. And in this academic standard, every child can also score very good marks, because it is a matter of only map drawing and map pointing, which can be done only with thorough practice. Okay, right. In this very short answer type 1 question for 2 marks, that may be either draw the outline map of Telangana state or draw the outline map of Nigeria, like these questions may be asked. Next, short answer type questions, 1 question for 4 marks. Okay, maybe India or world map. Again, coming to the essay type question, 1 question for 6 marks. It may be also India or world map. The choice is given to the question paper setter. So here we have to be thorough in the map pointing. 1 is India and 1 is world map. Coming to the total marks is 12 marks again. Next, coming to last academic standard, this is last but not least. This is also very, very important. The appreciation and sensitivity, which percentage is 7% and marks are 6 marks. In this, we can expect 1 question from the very short answer type and 1 question for the short answer type, and no essay type questions will be asked from this academic standard. So overall it is 6 marks we can get. So by looking at this, the total percentage is 100%, and the total marks are 80 marks plus 12 marks choice are there, because in the third section for essay type questions we have got 2 question choice is there. So plus 12, that is 12 marks. So total question paper is of 92 marks, and we have to attempt only for 80 marks. By analyzing the previous question papers, I have made these questions for your understanding. So this is the first academic standard, that is conceptual understanding, which will fetch us 42 marks. In that 24 marks are from part A and 18 marks are in the part B. So regarding the part B we will discuss later on. So now we will discuss on the part A type of questions, and in this academic standard there are 7 indicators are there. So basing on these indicators the questions will be asked. Okay, right. First of all, the first indicator is the reasons or causes. The first type of questions are causes of the world wars, causes of anthropogenic global warming, reasons for low sex ratio in India, like this type of questions may be asked based on this academic standard, based on this indicator. The second indicator is the consequences. Consequences means results. So what are the consequences of the world wars? We have First World War and Second World War, and what are their consequences? What are the consequences of over extraction of oil in Nigeria? Okay, next, coming to the third indicator, similarities and differences. We have many like these questions, like eastern coastal plains and western coastal plains. What are the similarities and differences between eastern coastal plains and western coastal plains? What are the similarities and differences between national movements of India and Nigeria? Next, coming to the examples, we have got many examples, like give examples to Indian MNCs, give examples of national parties, give examples of regional parties, give examples of forms of protest used in Telangana movement, give examples of Indian electropolis, like these questions. Coming to the analysis, analyze the working conditions of the workers in the unorganized sector. analyze the problems of the urbanization, analyze the problems of the migrants who went for work in abroad, other countries, that is international migration. Coming to the sixth indicator, explanation, that is explain the role of UNO in preserving world peace, explain the importance of Himalayas, like this. And coming to the last indicator, classification, that is division, classify the drainage system in India. Drainage system means the river systems. Next, coming to the classification, classify the sectors of an economy. Like this questions which I have appeared in the previous question papers I have brought here. For more questions, you consult your concerned subject teachers in the schools. Right, students, now we are going for the academic standard 2, that is reading the text given, understanding and interpretation. In our simple terms, we call it as paragraph interpretation. And this will fetch us 10 marks. This academic standard will fetch us 10 marks. In that, one 4 marks question and one 6 marks question is there. So now we are practicing one paragraph. I am not writing the complete paragraph, but I have given you the indication. It is from page number 77, 6th lesson, that is women's education up to the health of girls. This is a paragraph I have taken. So how to write the interpretation of a paragraph? Now I am giving an example. So for more details and for the way to answer the questions, you can consult your subject teachers also. Right? Now look at the board. So first of all, we have to write the introduction. So after reading the paragraph and understanding the paragraph, so to understand a paragraph, minimum we have to read 2 to 3 times the paragraph, and then we have to frame an idea in our mind, and then we have to put it on the paper. So first what we have to write? We have to write the introduction. What is the introduction? So after reading the paragraph, we can come to a conclusion that this paragraph is about something, right? What is that? The given paragraph is about the importance of women's education. Next, education plays a vital role in the life of every individual. So not only the women, for every individual also, the education plays a very, very vital, important role in their lives. So coming to interpretation. What is interpretation? Interpretation is nothing but by looking at the paragraph, by framing an idea in your mind, we have to write the paragraph in our own words. What the students are doing here, they are simply, whatever the paragraph points are there, they are making them into points and writing. So this is not the way. If you write in such a way, you won't be able to score good marks. So to get the good marks, you have to read the paragraph, understand the paragraph, and interpret in your own words. When you add your own words, you can then only able to score good marks. Now, by looking at this paragraph, now we have to write the interpretation. What is the interpretation? Let us see. So, I have written the introduction in 2 points. Now, from third point, I am beginning. Right. The women's education plays a great role in the empowerment of women. So, women's education has a great role in the empowerment of women. So, next, education has been a powerful force in reducing discrimination against women. So, when the women get educated, they will be the decision makers in the family. Economically, they will be free to take decisions and to make decisions in the family. They are very ready to do so. And there are many evidences that women's education reduces child mortality rate. We come across this in the second lesson, that infant mortality rate or child mortality rate is because that many of the parents, especially mothers, are not educated. If they are educated, it reduces the child mortality rate. Coming to the 6th point, the women's literacy reduces the selective neglect of the health of the girls. So in some families, those who are uneducated parents are there, especially mothers, they don't know what is nutritious food and what is not nutritious food. So by which what they are doing? They are neglecting the health of the girls. Right, students, we are after the completion of the 6th point, now we are at the 7th point, and the heading is problems. What are the problems if the women education is neglected or if it is not encouraged? What happens? So if women are not educated, economically they won't be free. So for everything, they have to depend upon their husband or their children. So that is the first problem. The second is the female literacy rate will not be improved in the nation. As you know, our literacy rate is the calculation of both male and female. So as the female literacy rate won't be improved, the overall literacy rate of the nation also cannot be improved. So it is also a problem. So at last, we have to write the conclusion, and the conclusion can be done like this. I conclude my interpretation with the following suggestions. So we have to give some suggestions. The first suggestion, that is 9th point, the parents should encourage the girls to go to school, because the parents are the people who send the girls to the schools. If they encourage the students, especially the girl child, to go to school, the female literacy rate and the women literacy rate also will improve. The second point and the last conclusion point is the government should create awareness among the parents, because it is the responsibility of the government and non-government organizations, NGOs, to create awareness among the parents about the importance of the girls' education. So like this, we can write the interpretation up to 10 points to 12 points. Then we can conclude this, and by which we can score good marks. Right. Now we are in the academic standard 3, that is information skills, and this will give us 12 marks. So in this, there are 3 types of questions are there in this academic standard. One question will be expected, we are expecting from 2 for 2 marks, one is for 4 marks, and one is for 6 marks. So let us take the example for the 2 marks. I have taken a table from page number 41 from our textbook, that is the contribution of organized and unorganized sectors. The sectors, so what is the contribution of percentage in total? So for example, if you look at organized sector, the employment contribution is 8% and the contribution in the GDP is 50%. Coming to unorganized sector, employment rate is 92%, but their contribution to the GDP is only 50%. So total for 100% employment, the GDP is also 100%. So now by looking at the table, we have to answer the question. So we have 2 types of questions. The first type of question is a direct question where most of the children can easily write the answer. For example, what is the table about? What is the table about? So the table is about the contribution of organized and unorganized sectors in the GDP. This is the first answer. So this type of questions are called as direct questions, where we can look at and we can write the answer by thinking little. Okay, by coming to the second type of question, this type of questions are called as explorative questions, where we can't find the answer of this question in the table. So we have to be thorough about this table and where it is located in the lesson. If you look at the data and the paragraphs around it, we can get the answer for this table. So what are the reasons for the less employment in the organized sector? Why the organized sector has got only 8% of employment? What might be the reasons? So this type of questions may be coming for 2 marks in the academic standard 3 information skills. Right. So students, we are in the academic standard 3. So for 4 marks or 6 marks, we can expect this type of questions. So by looking at the previous question paper, I have brought one question, that is analysis on the graph in page number 165. There is a graph in the page number 165 regarding the armaments race. So how to write the analysis, I am giving a way to write, and for more details and the way to answer, to present the answer, you can consult your subject teacher also. So first point, we have to write the introduction. The given graph is about the armaments race from 1880 to 1914. So what is the graph about? By looking at the graph, we can tell. That is, the graph is about the armaments race from 1880 to 1914. Next, second point, the armaments. What do you mean by armaments race? The armament race is the competition between the nations to increase the number of weapons, to build massive standing armies, and spend millions of pounds in the armaments industry. So it is in the context of militarism, what these countries have done, they have invested lot of money in the weapons, maintaining standing armies, as well as lot of money was spent in armaments industry, in the weapons industry. That is the second point. Third point, we are entering into the data. So in the year 1880, the amount spent on the armaments was 132 million pounds. In the initial year, in the year 1880, the armaments amount spent on the armaments was only 132 million pounds. But coming to in 1890, the expenditure on the weapons increased to 158 million pounds. So it has increased or decreased? Increased. This point we have to highlight, that the amount on the armaments has been increasing. Next, during 1900, the amount for armaments further increased. It again increased. Further increased means again increased to 205 million pounds. That is 205 million pounds they have spent on the armaments. Coming to the sixth point, in between 1900 to 1910, just in the span of 10 years, the money spent on arms increased to 288 million pounds. Next, coming from 1910 to 1914, just within a span of just 4 years, the expenditure on the weapons increased to 397 million pounds. So we can see that within the span of just 4 years, here in difference you can see everywhere it is 10 years, 1880 to 1890, 1890 to 1900, 1900 to 1910, it is 10 years. But coming to the last point I have mentioned here, within the span of just 4 years, what happened? The expenditure on the weapons increased to 397 million pounds. Students, let us continue. After the 7th point, now the 8th point, the war is not a solution. Here we are going for the conclusion. So the war is not a solution to the diplomatic problems between nations. So when there is a diplomatic problem between the nation, the war should not be a solution. So what they have to do? The nation should try to solve their diplomatic problems through discussions and negotiations. First, what they have to do to solve the problems? They have to do the discussions, and through negotiations they have to try to resolve their issues. If still, the 10th point, still the problems are not solved after the discussions and negotiations, they can approach, the nations can approach international organizations like UNO to solve their problems, diplomatic problems. The countries can approach the UNO. UNO means United Nations organizations, where they can solve the problem, right? Thank you. Now we are in the 4th academic standard, reflection on contemporary issues, and this one will fetch us 10 marks. Okay, in the 1 2 marks question will be there, 1 6 marks question in part A. These two are in the part A, and 2 marks are expected in the part B. So coming to the part B, the questions will be like, who is the Chief Election Commissioner of India at present? Who is the President of India at present? Who is the Governor of Telangana State at present? Like these questions will be asked in part B. Coming to part A, there are 2 types again, within the text and beyond the text. First we'll look at the beyond the text. Beyond the text in the sense which are out of syllabus, which are beyond our textbook. So such type of questions are asked, are given by your teachers in the component of reflection on contemporary issues in the formative assessment area. Okay, for example, I have taken Ukraine-Russia war. So this is a war related question which is not there in our textbook. So this is called as a contemporary issue which is beyond the text. Coming to the within the text, which are related to our textbook, one contemporary issue which is going on related to our lesson in the 19th lesson, West Asian conflicts, and from that day till today also it is going on, that is the Israel-Palestine war. This is a war which is continuing at present also, and a lot of innocent people were killed during this war, and this comes under the reflection on contemporary issues, and it will fetch us 10 marks. Right, students, now we are in the 5th academic standard, mapping skills, which will give us 12 marks. So, and this is the area where the dull student in the class, average and below average student also can score 12 out of 2 very easily by following some methods. Now let us see, for 2 marks question, there are 2 areas will be tested. One is map drawing, one is map reading. So we are well aware of map drawing. Generally 99.99 times here in our paper we are getting the drawing of outline map of Telangana state. Draw the outline map of Telangana state. So this is 99.9% assured question. Every year we are getting, by looking at that consequence I am telling that it is a 100% question. But sometimes unexpectedly we may also get Nigeria also, because in our 13th lesson there is a descriptive picture of the outline map of Nigeria also. Next, this is about the map drawing. Coming to map reading, a map will be given in the question paper, and at the bottom or they will be giving 2 questions. So for example, it is the map of Europe continent. Now the first question will be, what is the map showing, or what is the map indicates? So we can write the map indicates about the Europe continent. Second question, by looking at the map we have to answer this question, why England is called as a island nation? Why England is called as an island nation? Then we have to write that England, as it is a landmass covered by 4 sides of water, it is called as an island nation. Like this we have to give the answer. Next, so here for the next 4 marks and 6 marks questions, we may expect for 4 marks or 6 marks either India map or world map. It is the choice ultimately given to the question paper setter. Maybe 4 marks or maybe 6 marks, we have to be ready. So in the map, we can expect in the map pointing there are some questions like the direct questions and indirect questions, and some open-ended questions and some closed-ended questions. So closed-ended questions are nothing but they are the direct questions. Okay, and indirect questions and open-ended questions are of different types. I will explain you later on. Let us see. First of all, India map. First we look at our India map. In India map, first we have to practice all the relief features. What are the relief features in India map we have found? One is Himalayas, next Indo-Gangetic Plain, next coastal plains, Thar Desert, islands. Okay, and as well as we have to practice all these things whatever they are mentioned in the relief features. If you don't practice, we are lacking some marks. We have to be ready with all these things to be practiced. Next, we are having states and capital cities. All the states and their capital cities we have to be ready, and especially the states which are mentioned in the textbook, they must be ready. We have to be ready with the states and capital cities. And latitudes and longitudes. There is a mention of some latitudes in our lesson. That is the extent of India. So from where the India is extended, from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, the extent of the latitudes, that is 8 degrees 4 minutes to 37 degrees north latitudes, as well as the latitude which divides India into almost two equal halves. We call it as Tropic of Cancer. And the Indian standard meridian, that is 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude, is also one of the important longitude that passes through India. So we have to practice those important latitudes and longitudes. Coming to the plateaus, we have got 3 plateaus in our textbook. That is, first plateau is the Malwa Plateau, second one is the Chota Nagpur Plateau, and third one is the Deccan Plateau. Coming to the Malwa Plateau and Chota Nagpur Plateau are also called as Central Highlands. Okay, as well as coming to the Chota Nagpur Plateau, this plateau is very much rich in the mineral resources, very famous for its mineral resources. And Deccan Plateau, which is in the peninsular India, which is famous for its black cotton soils. Okay, coming to the plains like Indo-Gangetic Plain, in that also there are divisions, the western part, the central part, and the eastern part, and how it is formed. All these things we have to practice. Next, coming to the coastal plains. In the coastal plains, we have got 3 coasts in the western coast and 3 coasts, namely 3 coasts in the eastern coast. What are the 3 coasts in the western coast? One is the Konkan coast, Canara coast, and Malabar coast. And coming to the eastern coast, we have Coromandel coast, Sarkar coast, and Utkal coast. Among these coasts also, in the previous year examination also, Konkan coast and Canara coast were asked. So like that we have to practice all these coasts. Coming to the eastern and western Ghats. And important peaks in the eastern Ghats and western Ghats also very important. Like in the eastern Ghats, previously they asked the highest peak in the eastern Ghats is Armakonda. Like that we have to practice. Next, coming to the rivers also and their tributaries. When it comes to the rivers, there is a division that there are 2 types of rivers out there in India. The drainage system of India can be classified into 2. One is Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. And in the Himalayan rivers, we have got Indus River and its 5 tributaries. And Ganga River, it has got many tributaries. And coming to Brahmaputra, it has also got 3 to 4 tributaries. Okay, so all these rivers we have to locate in the India map, and we have to practice them thoroughly. Then only we can easily get. Next, coming to the peaks, important peaks. That is, what are the highest peaks in India? For example, like Kanchenjunga. Okay, like the peaks in South India, like Doda Betta, or the peak like Anaimudi in South India. Like all these things we have to practice in our map pointing skills. Next, coming to the mountain ranges. What are the mountain ranges? Like Nilgiri Hills, Himalayas, Sesachela Hills, Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, okay, Kaimur Range, Vindhya Mountains, Aravali ranges. All these things we have to practice. And when it comes to Aravali ranges, we have to think about the Thar Desert. Thar Desert is also called as Great Indian Desert. Okay, apart from this, some seas and oceans are also there. Like we have got seas, Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, ocean, Indian Ocean. And apart from these things, in seas also we have got some islands like Lakshadweep Islands, which nowadays very popular in the newspapers. Okay, as well as we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and in that Andaman Nicobar Islands we have the southernmost part tip of India, that is the Indira Point. Like that. Coming to the ocean, Indian Ocean, and all the neighboring nations of India are also we have to practice. What are the neighboring nations? Like China, like Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, like this. All the neighboring countries, nations, we have to practice in the India map. Okay, and coming to the direct and indirect questions, for example, when he is asking to write a capital city of some state, directly if he is asking you to write what is the capital city of Maharashtra capital city, directly we will write Mumbai. But sometimes what we will ask, he will ask us to write the economic capital of India. So that is indirect question. Or sometimes, for example, the southern tip of Deccan Plateau. What is the southern tip of Deccan Plateau? It is indirect question. Nilgiri Hills. Direct is Nilgiri and indirect is southern tip of Deccan Plateau. Nilgiris is the indirect question. Next, coming to the open-ended and closed-ended questions. Closed-ended is nothing but direct question. Open-ended means the choice is given to the students to show that whatever he wants. For example, any one Himalayan hill station. Like any one Himalayan hill station means you can take Shimla, you can take Nainital, you can take any one example. Coming to the world map, in the world map, the countries, what are the nations mentioned in the textbook? We have to practice them, and while practicing, divide them in continent wise and practice. Next, capital cities of the countries, headquarters of the international organizations. What are the international organizations mentioned in the textbook? Like UNO, International Court of Justice, UNICEF, UNESCO, WHO, WTO, Greenpeace movement. Like all these things we have to practice. Coming to the seas, like Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Baltic Sea, Balkan Sea, okay, like this Atlantic Ocean. Coming to the oceans, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean, all the oceans we have to practice. Next, some places of importance are like the first summit of NAM was held at. First conference of NAM was held at. So that is Bandung and Belgrade in Yugoslavia, like that, the places of importance. And the cities that were destroyed in the world wars. What were the cities destroyed in the world war? Especially in the Second World War in Japan, two cities were destroyed. One is Hiroshima and another one is Nagasaki. Next, the colonies. What are the colonies? The colonies which were occupied by another countries, like the colony of Britishers in Asia, example is India, or in Africa is Nigeria, like that. The Belgian colony in Africa is Congo, like this. Colonies also will be asked in this academic standard. Right, students, now we are at the sixth and last academic standard. Already I told you this is last but not the least. It will, that is the appreciation and sensitivity, and this will give us 6 marks. So in these 6 marks there are two types of questions will be asked. One is for 2 marks and one is for 4 marks. So generally, by observing the previous question papers, I came to a conclusion that for 2 marks question, generally they are asking the slogans, qualities of great leaders and the features of some organizations or something. Like 4 marks questions, pamphlet and letter writing, they are asking by looking at the previous question papers, I can come to this conclusion. So by looking at this, we can say that first of all, we have to take the example of slogans. What type of questions are asked for slogans and what features should a slogan possess? Let us see. First of all, a slogan should be having 2 parts. For example, I have written a slogan here about the importance of right to vote. Right to vote is a constitutional right, okay, and use it to make our future bright. This is the slogan I have written. So by observing this slogan, you can conclude that. So it started with inverted commas, ended with inverted commas, first thing. Second thing, the slogan has 2 parts. This is the first part up to here and this is the second part, and separated with a single small line called as hyphen. Okay, so like this we have to write it. The slogan should be always of 2 parts, separated with a hyphen line, and apart from this it should have some qualities. What are the features it should have? Relativeness. For example, if the question is about the global warming and you are writing about globalization, then it is not related. So like that we have to write the first quality, that is relativeness. Whatever he is asking, we have to write the same. Second thing is rhyming. Rhyming means, so you can see, right to vote is a constitutional right. Use it to make our future bright. Right, bright. This is called as rhyming. Next, timing. Timing in the sense, the time taken to read this first line at the first part of the slogan should be approximately equal to the time taken to read the second line. So it should not be like this. One is short and one is lengthy one. It should be avoided. So it should be of 2 parts, and the 2 parts reading time should be approximately equal. Coming to last one, that is the meaning. Our slogan should have a meaning. It should have a meaning. Then only it will be considered as a slogan. Coming to the qualities or features. What are the qualities? Like for example, if you take the example of qualities, what qualities you like the most in Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and why? This is the question. So, the answer is the qualities I like the most in Dr. B.R. Ambedkar are his intelligence, hardworking nature, foresight, dedication. So these are the 4 qualities which I have chosen. You can write other also, no problem. Not only Ambedkar, like this Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, like Mahatma Gandhi, Professor Jaishankar, like these questions are also asked in the previous year's papers, and Subhash Chandra Bose was also asked in the recent past. Next, with these qualities, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar prepared the world's lengthiest written constitution. So with these qualities, what they have achieved, what they have done, also we have to mention and conclude that I will try to inculcate these habits in me, these qualities in me as I grow older. Like this we have to write. Next, we have to write about the, for 4 marks we have to write about the pamphlet and letter writing. 6th academic standard, appreciation and sensitivity. This is for 6 marks. In that 2 marks already I told you about the slogans and qualities and features. Now we are going for the 4 marks questions. That is, first one is pamphlet in that. So how to write a pamphlet? So pamphlet we have to write in a full page. Okay, and for the pamphlet, first thing we have to write, we have to mention is the title. So we have to give a heading, a title to the pamphlet. Next area we have to write the introduction. For example, I am taking a title called as, about the pamphlet called as organic farming. So what do you mean by organic farming? Its introduction we have to write. Organic farming is a type of agriculture where we avoid the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Like this, all these things we will write the introduction. Right. If you don't go for organic farming, what happens? The second area is about the reasons, problems and consequences. Why there is a need to go for organic farming? If you don't go for organic farming, what are the problems we are facing and what are its consequences? All these things we have to mention here. What are the consequences? Soil degradation, health hazards, contamination of water bodies. Like this, many things are happening with the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. All these points will be explained here. And coming to the third area, here for every pamphlet there is a target group. There is a target group. So basing on that target group, we have to write a appeal. Appeal means a request. For example, when we are writing about the organic farming, our target group will be the farmers. So we have to address the farmers. An appeal to the farmers is to be made, that to how to avoid the chemical fertilizers and pesticides and go for organic farming, and what are the various ways where they can use in this organic farming, like the agricultural manures, okay, biopest control techniques. All these things we will be mentioning here. If it is about the girls' education, our target will be the parents. Okay, if it is about the food security, all the people. If it is about the importance of voting, voters are our target. So like this we have to write the appeal to the target group people in the last paragraph or last area of our pamphlet. And next, at the conclusion, at the last side, in the left side margin, number of copies. How many number of copies we have to write here? 500, 5000, 1000, whatever you want. Next, publisher's name or published by, like the name they are writing. But few things are there which are to be avoided. Generally, in my observation, which I have come across are, in pamphlet, try to avoid the diagrams. What the students are doing, they are utilizing this space for drawing some diagrams, some pictures which are actually not asked for, and no marks will be awarded for the such type of drawings. So try to avoid those things. Right. So in the academic standard 6, appreciation and sensitivity, letter writing will be also asked for 4 marks. So generally in our subject social studies, our letters are official letters, and most of the times our letters are representation letters, where we will be representing our issues, a problem, to the district level or mandal level officers. Let us see, for example, by looking at the previous paper, I brought this question. Write a letter to the concerned officer to control the election malpractices in your village. This is the letter where they are asking to write a letter to the concerned officer about the election malpractices. How to write a letter? Let us see. First thing we have to write is the date and place. Generally we write in languages also, we use the same format. Coming to the to address, by looking at this, the concerned officer, don't write the same name as concerned officer again. We should know for this problem who is the concerned officer. To them only we have to write. For example, for election malpractices, the concerned officer is the returning officer. I found that for this question, some students were writing about, they are writing the letter to the Chief Election Commissioner of India. So for these problems at a village level, we should not approach the national level officials. So what we have to write? We have to write to the returning officer, who is the officer at the constituency level. For example, to the returning officer, Karimnagar constituency, Karimnagar district. Subject: application to control the election malpractices or electoral malpractices in my village, requesting regarding. REQ, REG. Next, respected sir or madam, anyone we have to take. Don't take both. Okay, either sir or madam. Next, write, I am XYZ of XYZ village of Karimnagar constituency. In my village, they are distributing whatever the election malpractices are happening. You have to mention those election malpractices and write a request at the end that please control these election malpractices to save the democracy. Like this we have to write. Next, thanking you sir, yours faithfully, name, village and whatever the address you have mentioned, Karimnagar district. Like this we have to write. And while writing this, we have to point out one thing, sir. When we are writing here respected sir, we should write thanking you sir. If you are using madam, you have to write madam. If you write sir here and if you write madam, it will be wrong. Okay, so like this we have to write here. While writing the letter, the body of the letter, this is very very important. The problem whatever we are writing here, it should be mentioned very clearly in this body of the letter to score 4 out of 4 in the letter writing. Right. Coming to part B, this is for 20 marks. 20 questions will be there, 20 marks, and the time allocated for the part B is only 30 minutes. So though we are saying it as a 20 marks, but they are very very important in achieving 10 GPA or passing the exam also. They are very very important. So what we have to do before answering? Read the instructions given in the question paper carefully. In part B, certain instructions are specifically given for the part B. So we have to read that instructions carefully. Second, read the questions properly. Try to understand the questions properly, because in our question, social studies, there are certain questions like these are not meant, these are for this, like this, not a small word. If you miss that, the entire answer will become wrong. So that is the reason. Read the questions very very properly and try to understand the questions properly. Try to understand the questions first, then try to answer. Okay, and answers must be written in capital letters. Last year examination, I found while evaluating the papers, the last annual examination, we found that students were using small letters A, B, C, D's. So this must be avoided, as these instructions are already given in the early instructions in the part B question paper. And the first instruction will be that one only. Use capital letters like A or B or C or D, either of your choice, any one of your choice. Okay, so while answering, you must remember that there should not be any overwriting, any erasing of the answers or corrections to made, which are to be made to already write existing answers. What the students will do, sometimes they will write A, then again they will cut it and they will rub it and write B. So this should be avoided. Once you have written an answer, that is final. So that is, before answering, we have to read the question thoroughly, try to understand the question, confirm the answer, then only you have to write the answer. So confirm yourself whether I am writing correct answer or not, then only you have to write. Okay, next, coming to the last area, attempt all the questions. Why I am specifically mentioning this? Because as our exam, social studies exam, is the final exam, last exam in the SSC board examination, our students will be little bit hurry to complete the examination and get outside of the exam hall. So that is the reason I am mentioning here. Attempt all the questions, and after attempting also, you check once whether we have attempted all the questions properly or not. Okay, that is very very important. So general instructions for the students, those who are appearing for annual examinations this year. So first of all, read the question paper thoroughly. So try to read the question paper, try to understand the questions, then only you start answering. Previously you used to have separate time to read and understand the question paper, but from last year onwards we don't have any such separate time for reading. But while in the time only, in the meantime, you have to read and try to understand the questions. And while before answering the questions, read the instructions given in each section. As you know, we have 3 sections, section 1, section 2 and section 3. So for each section we have got some specified special instructions are given, so read the instructions and follow accordingly. Next, use neat handwriting. This is also very very important. So neat handwriting will give us good marks. Okay, so try to present the answer neatly and try to draw a line after every answer. Separate the answer with a line by which we can score good marks, and the paper also will be appearing neatly. Try to avoid the mistakes. First of all, if any mistakes are happening, then what you have to do? Strike the mistaken word with a single line. For example, here I was going to write language and I have written a mistake like language. Then what I did? Simply I striken off with a single line and I write with the perfect word. What is the word next? So what some students are doing, they are highlighting the mistake by doing some mischievous things. This is not advisable. Okay, so don't highlight your mistakes. Don't commit the mistakes first. Don't write any mistakes. But if you commit any mistake, try to draw a single line like this. Strike it off with a line, but don't highlight the mistakes. Next, while coming to the map drawing, draw the outline map of Telangana state or any other question asked to draw. You have to draw it properly with a proper shape and draw it neatly. Okay, and while handovering the paper also, you have to check all the answers, whether you have attempted all the answers or not at the examination, that is in part A and in the part B. Hope you understood all these instructions given by me. Thank you very much. Okay, wish you all the best. Namaskaram.